Hey, welcome to my GitHub tutorial on how to fork a GitHub repository, right? Now, you may need to make a copy of the repository of some other developer without making any edits to it and still get to know what's the code and learn from it. So this is the situation when you want to fork it. Okay. So I've already opened my dashboard of my GitHub account, and I am going to look for some tutorials or some code on drop-down navbar. This is just as an example to show you in what scenario you can do it. So this is just an example. You could be looking for some other code, and it's nothing wrong, because we always want to learn some more from other developers and other codes. So there's nothing wrong. Okay, so I look for some of these codes, and let me see. I choose one of them here, React navbar drop down menu. Yeah, let me see if I'm able to fork it. Yes, I could do that. Now remember, when you want to fork, you have to see this button fork, written fork here. You can see there are 12 people who already forked it. 12 folks. So it's quite nice code. That's why somebody wants to fork it. Yeah, so I keep looking at more. So this is how you do it. So you can keep on looking for more codes and decide which one you want to fork. So let me again keep searching. Drop down menu. Yeah, in React. It could be in JavaScript, whatever you want to look for. So this is just for example's sake. So we come here and I see some codes. Okay, I like this React Native drop-down, simple implementation of a drop-down menu. So, okay, I want to get this. So I go there, I go to this repository done by Alan's account, and I take a look at the code, and I look at the folders and files, and yeah, the description there, introduction there, the readme and all that. Okay, and then I decide, okay, I want to get this. I see there are about 165 people forked it. So I also press the fork button. There you go. Create a new fork. So as you can see, it writes here, allows you to freely experiment with changes without affecting the existing repository. So that's the idea. Yeah, so you can take a code, experiment, look at it, or learn, or you don't do anything with it, whatever. So press the green button which says create fork. I've done that, and you have forked it. Now when you fork it, the result in the outcome, it says meera 07 by React Native, whatever is the name of the repository. So what happens is it comes back, it's copied into your own repository, into your account as a individual personal repository, in my case, for example. So this is the idea. So now even if I make some changes in it, I can learn from it, or if I don't make any changes, I just look at the code and I learn from it. Even that's possible. So that's the idea, because I'm not disturbing the master code. I'm not disturbing some other people's code. I'm just copying it. I want to learn from it. Maybe I make changes, maybe I don't. I just do that for experimenting. So this is the reason I want people to fork. Yeah. And I just look at all these folders and files here. You can see so many folders and files are there. And in my previous tutorial, I've already taught you how to make, or rather how to create files and how to create folders. So this is the third tutorial in the playlist for GitHub, teaching you how to fork a repository, or rather how to copy. Yeah, so forking is quite simple, and it is an essential and a must for beginners in coding, or sometimes even advanced people also copy some codes, fork some codes for various reasons, especially when you don't want to disturb other people's code, but you want to experiment, or you want to learn something, or you want to research something on other people's code. You can do that. But as a beginner, it's very important to know this. So I'm making this tutorial for beginners to learn how to fork a code, or how to fork a repository in GitHub. So keep watching. so that you get to know how to do it perfectly, and you also see some more examples. You can experiment with as many repositories as possible and fork them in the beginning. Yeah, and I'll be doing more such tutorials for GitHub education, GitHub tutorials, and make sure you smash the subscribe button so that you get to master the GitHub. It's very essential to put GitHub learning in your resume so that you can get a job faster. And also it makes your life much more easier, because without GitHub, it's very difficult to survive and record all your files, copy other files, learn from code from other developers, and also experiment with your own code, record your own code, and things like that. I'll be teaching you some more. So here there's another one I forked, that is a SaaS landing page from Brad Traversy. He's a very popular developer. So his is also a very popular one. This one is made public, available for forking. So I create a fork. Yeah, it's a main landing page. And then I click on the create fork button. There you go. You're creating a fork in your own account. And there, it's coming to mind. But always remember, it shows here, forked from Brad Traversy / blah, 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 name of the repository. So it will always show, even if you're forking it, when it comes to your account, or it's showing in your repository, in your account as a repository, it will show as a forked repository, and it will also show the owner's name. So there's nothing wrong. People will get to know that you forked it from so and so, and there's nothing to hide. If someone forks from me, like for example, you can fork this from me, and it'll show in your account as a separate repository with the same name, and it'll show that you fork from me. Yeah, so it's like a chain. So there's no restriction on that. So there you go. I'm just looking at the code here by opening the folder and files, and I can see all these codes here. So just opening up and just kind of exploring it. So it's a good place. GitHub is a good place to explore other codes, other people's code, and also to record your code. Yeah. Like previously I showed you how to create a repository. So this is a very important place for developers. So as you can see, there are many code that I've created from my own code editor, and I've also forked some from other developers. Wherever it's mine, it will show as my original repository. Forked one, it will show as a forked repository. So like that. So happy coding and happy GitHub. If you don't have one GitHub account, create it right away, because it's very useful. Okay, stay tuned until I hit the next tutorial.